Okay, let's look at an example where we use the point slope formula. We have here the year since 1960, those are our x values, and then our y values are the solid waste produced in million tons. So in 1960, the year since 1960 was 0, and 88 million tons of solid waste was produced. So A says choose 2 points and write the equation of the line. So we need to figure out the slope before we can write the equation of the line. I'm going to pick the first 2 points just because it's easier. They're smaller numbers, but it doesn't matter what 2 points you picks. So I'm going to pick 0, 88 and 10, 121. And I'm going to go ahead and find the slope of these 2 points. So remember, change in y. So 121 minus 88 over change in x. So 10 minus 0. You want to go ahead and do this subtraction, and you get 33 over 10. And you can leave it like that. Later I might reduce it over 1 when I go to interpret the slope. But this is our slope, 33 over 10. I now want to write the equation of the line using y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And remember, we're going to be plugging in the y1 value, the m value, and the x1 value into this equation. And I'm going to use the first slope, or excuse me, the first point, just because it's the easiest to use. It has a 0 in it, so it'll make my math a little bit easier. So I'm going to use this point and this slope in my equation. So let me go ahead and plug these in, and I get y minus, and then look at my y1 value, or the y value of my point, and it's 88, equals, plug in your slope of 33 over 10 times x minus, and the x value of my point is 0. So that makes that math a little bit easier because x minus 0 is just x. So let's go ahead and simplify that to y minus 88 equals 33 tenths x. And then the last thing is just to get y by itself, so I'm going to add 88 over to the other side of the equal sign, and I get y equals 33 tenths x plus 88. And that's our equation of the line. Okay, B says what is the slope? That's the first part. So our slope is 33 over 10. And it says explain what the slope means. So interpret the slope. So whenever I'm interpreting what a slope means, I always like to write what the y stands for and the x stands for in our point. So remember, y, if we come back up here to the table, was the solid waste in million tons. So I'm just going to write that. Remember, slope is y over x. So y is in your numerator here. So this is solid waste in million tons over, and then our x value was the number of years. Okay. So if I read this, and I didn't write the million tons, I'll abbreviate it here, million tons. So what this is saying is that it's a positive number, so it means it's increasing. So our solid waste is increasing by 33 million tons every 10 years. So that's what this is saying. So I'm just going to write that out. So solid waste increasing, and remember, if it was negative, it'd be decreasing, but this is a positive slope, so it's increasing by 33 million tons every, and then our denominator, or x value, is every 10 years. Okay, if I had wanted to, I could have reduced my slope instead of 33 tenths. This does reduce to be 3.3 over 1 if I divide both the numerator and denominator by 10. So I could have come over here, and instead of saying 33 million tons, I could have said it increases by 3.3 million tons, and then my denominator is 1, so every 1 year. So either one of those would be fine. 33 every 10 years or 3.3 every 1 year. Okay, and then C says, what is the y-intercept? So remember the y-intercept, if I come over to my equation, it was that number that was by itself. So it was our 88, a positive 88. So our y-intercept is the point x is 0 and y is 88, because the y-intercept is a point. And it says explain what the y-intercept means. And what this means, x is 0, that's our starting year. Sometimes it's your starting value or starting point. In our case, it's the starting year of 1960. So in 1960, the amount of solid waste was 88 million tons. In 1960, there was 88 million tons of solid waste. So there's not one exact answer that I'm necessarily looking for. You just need to make sure you can explain what this point is representing. So you could say at the starting year of 1960, there was 88 million tons of solid waste. There's many different ways to explain this as long as you get your units correct.